Has this, do you think, in the minds of many Americans, undermined the credibility of the American democratic system, or are Americans becoming accustomed to this sort of thing?
No, I think that the general American feels that it's an undermining of our system.
Yes. Has it occasioned you any embarrassment on this trip to Australia?
No,
at all?
Australians are very wide open and open-minded about the entire situation, and they discuss it in an open manner.
To Australians, of course, it does seem quite extraordinary that Nixon hasn't resigned yet, because under a Westminster system, it would probably almost invariably have brought down, say, an English Prime Minister or an Australian Prime Minister.
Yes, but your system of government and our system of government are different, and from that point of view, Nixon's credibility may be impaired. But as far as he himself resigning or the party taking a backseat to the Democratic Party is concerned, time alone will answer that. And the facts will bring out the necessities of the situation.
Do you approve of bugging? Do you approve of this sort of...
Definitely not, and I don't believe anyone in the United States approves of bugging.
Including Mr. Nixon?
Including Mr. Nixon.
Thank you both very much.
Right.
You didn't ask me anything.
I didn't, sorry. Are we still rolling? I should have come to you, forgive me.
Good, because in the United States, you know, we're rather outspoken about several things anyhow. And you are here too. I see women have pretty much of a grasp on their own lives to a great extent today too. But, well, I did want to say that when you consider that the overwhelming majority of the American people voted for Mr. Nixon, those are not going to be people who are disenchanted very easily with him. They're going to try to find ways of accounting for what he did. And I'm sure I feel personally that you're not going to have impeachment processes going on very shortly. I think there will be reasons given, such as it was for the security of the country at that time, and this had to be done. I don't feel that you will see impeachment. You will probably see censure, because this gives the Democrats in Congress an opportunity to make hay out of the situation. And this would happen no matter who the in power was and who the out power was, you know.
Even assuming that it could be established that Nixon did know about the Watergate affair all along, do you think that the majority of Americans would forgive him for it?
I do believe so. I think, yes, I think they would, because the vast majority voted for Mr. Nixon. They're not about to admit that they were so terribly wrong just a few short months ago.
Is this really the accepted thing? It's the sort of thing one might expect to find in a banana republic, but is this the sort of thing you've grown to live with in the United States?
Well, lots of these things have been happening all over the world for a long time, and because the media are so active and bring the world news into one's living room in so many ways that are different now than they were 10 years ago or 20 years ago. People don't have just a television set today. They have a black and white, and they have a color TV, and there's one in the children's room. So you have lots of stations going at once. And I think what Marshall McLuhan has been saying is right, that we are bombarded by media. We've learned to think in symbols, and we accept many things that are utterly dirty and in the realm of skullduggery. We accept them very naturally because we're attuned to so much of it now. We're so wise, so all-knowing today, you see, that we become very blasé about what is happening, and we are prone to shrug our shoulders and say, well, this is the political game. What do you expect? And let's not chastise one man, everybody else is doing it too. I really think this is how we've begun to rationalize the dirtiness around us all the time.
One quick question. Do you think Nixon will survive this?
Oh, surely. He's a very tenacious man. He's learned how to survive under duress for many, many years now. And I think he has good friends in important places that will help him to survive. And I think basically the American people want him to, because it's sort of a little extra shame for us if he doesn't. It's a psychological thrust whereby you kind of all band together at a time like this, and you do close ranks on it. Whether it's good or not, I wouldn't say, but this, I think, is what will happen.
Thank you both very much.
You're very welcome.
Have a good trip. Bye-bye. Thank you. Alice Springs is very nice.
You recommend Alice Springs?
It's terrific, actually.
Mosquito country.
They have these fly things that you put on.
We had
like
that in Egypt.
Like a beekeeping helmet, you know. You may not like the flies, but
One thing I wanted to say
Yes.
to you. When you asked about this thing being such an unusual incident in American life, we were and you asked if we were embarrassed.
Fine.
We were traveling in foreign lands when Martin Luther King was assassinated and when Robert Kennedy was assassinated. And people would come up to us and say, how can this happen in your country? Because they held us as an image of those things that are good and worth striving for. So we don't apologize for what happens anymore. I can't take that load on my shoulders. You know, it has to do with over 200 million people, not just me. So I just wanted you to know that.
Bye.
Have a
Thank you
good
lot.
trip.
Thanks.
Goodbye.
Thank